Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Gamers That Yap.
I'm your host, Brittany,
And I'm Ariana.
and today we're going to talk about a game that's very special to our hearts. Pokemon, or more specifically, Gen 5 Pokemon.
What y'all know about Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2, guys?
Like the best game in the series. Don't at me.
Bro, don't say that, don't say that. The
Sorry,
Gen 1 people, the
sorry.
Sinnoh people are gonna come for you.
My bad, my bad, my bad. Before you know it, I'm gonna see like a pipe bomb in my mail or something.
So yeah, I mean Pokemon's franchise been going on for God knows how long at this point. I definitely wasn't alive when the first one came out. Um, I mentioned this in I think episode 1 of Gamers That Yap, but my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Heart Gold. I got that when I was in like the first grade as like a gift with my like Nintendo DS. Which one was yours actually?
So technically, what it was during the time where like I wasn't really buying a lot of specific games, but like I would go to my friend's house and he had like a whole bunch of Pokemon games, and I was really into his Pokemon Pearl game to the point where I just took like his DS and Game Boy cartridges, and then I'd go home with them, and then I'd keep them for months at a time. So I'd say definitely like Pokemon Pearl, and also I was playing Soul Silver around that same exact time. So I was kind of both of those games at the same time, to be honest.
Interesting. To this point, to this day, I haven't. Well, I guess that's a lie because I got the one-to-one remake when it came out, which like we don't talk about that one, the
Yeah.
Pokemon Pearl and Diamond remakes. Um, so I guess that was. So I guess technically I did play Pokemon Pearl because it was a one-to-one remake. Um, but I hadn't played the OG before, and I kind of want to. I tried to do it on an emulator, but anyways, that's a different conversation.
Genuinely lost my Pokemon Pearl game, but I recently got a Pokemon Platinum and I've been going through that. It's been months though, even though I'm close to the end of the game, so I should probably pick it up again. So
No, yeah, I should definitely do like a playthrough of like the OG Pokemon Pearl and or Platinum. But anyways, this episode is all for Gen 5. We're gonna be talking about Pokemon Black and White and then also a bit about the sequels as well. Um, just for like a small kind of overview of the game. So unlike the previous games in the main franchise of Pokemon, uh Gen 5, the region, was built or was inspired by New York City. Um, so, because I believe all the other games took place in like different parts of Japan, like Gens 1 through 4. Um,
yeah.
but it's the same premise as the other games where you're you're setting off on an adventure to become a Pokemon master. And this time the villains was actually Team Plasma. It's a group of people who claimed that they want to liberate Pokemon and that it's wrong to like keep them and like battle them and all of that. So they're the main antagonists that you're fighting throughout the game. And the sequel takes place a couple years after the first game and follows Neo Team Plasma, so kind of like a re-rising of that group after you defeat them in the first game. But yeah, so Brittany, tell us why you like that gen so much.
Oh, wow. So for me, I feel like a big part of it would have to be like the emotional connection I have to it, because that was the first Pokemon game I actually owned myself. That I wasn't stealing from other people. Um, but I remember that Pokemon Black and White released in like a whole bunch of other countries like before like the US. And so I would watch playthroughs of like people playing it and things like that. Like I would see that even like there were different names of the Pokemon and such like that, that even when I finally got my hands on it, I was confused on like why they were named different stuff. So I was like, what the heck? Who is so and so and things like that. Because like I was literally watching like Pokemon games from like other places and things such as that. But I also feel like it was kind of like a point in the series that it just had like Game Freak were throwing out so many new ideas in that game, and I feel like that hit me pretty hard and stuff like that, in a point where I really liked it. Like you got like the weather system, you got like the little rotation battles, and then you got like the what was triple battles introduced in Pokemon Black and White?
I believe so, yes, because triple battles, when that was introduced, they had those specific like moves that they released
Well, yeah,
along with
the
it.
pledges, yeah, those
Yeah.
little combo moves, and yeah, I even wrote in my notes that I want to mention like those pledge moves because like that was such a crazy thing to me as well. But game just had so much like stuff in it in the storyline. That was the last time Pokemon wanted to write like a really crazy story. I'm sorry.
No, I agree because I think so one of Pokemon's biggest charms for me is just their like the character designs especially, and like their ability to make like really like likable characters. And I believe after Gen 5, what kind of saved the franchise for me at least, and why I kept going back to it, was not only like the obvious nostalgia, but like there was just like still like cool characters being introduced and cool designs, so that's why I kept going back to it. But I do think that after Gen 5 for a while, like the writing plot wise kind of fell flat for me.
Hmm.
But Gen 5 I think was like I well, let me preface this too with like Scarlet and Violet. I think that's really bringing back writing to the Pokemon series. Like let me just say that, and that's another episode. Um However, for a while Gen 5 was like the last game that I had remembered that I was like, that story was really good.
Yeah, like I remember finishing the game like, oh my god, that was like the best Pokemon game out of like the games that I stole, and this is the only one that I actually begged my mom to buy for me. Wow, this is great. Like,
No, yeah, and I think like so, just a little, if you haven't played it yourself, or if you just need kind of like a refresher. So, you're setting out on your Pokemon journey, and after you pass the whole tutorial stuff, you end up in one of the first towns, and you see Team Plasma preaching to a group of people being like, "Yeah, Pokemon, they need to be liberated." And then some guy with like long green hair walks up, aka my boyfriend, and
also mine.
his name is N. And he walks up to the player and he's just kind of like, yeah, so like, what did you think about that? And the player doesn't talk, but in my mind, the player is just like, okay.
That was whack.
And then, like, and then you guys battle or whatever, and he senses your connection with Pokemon. And so he becomes the one of the reoccurring characters in the game, and he eventually reveals to the player that he's actually the quote unquote king or leader of Team Plasma, and that he wants to liberate Pokemon, and he thinks this is for the
So he admits like right then, or I thought like he admits it like a little bit later. Like at first he's
no,
just
that's at the Ferris wheel. I said eventually.
okay. I was about to say
Girl,
I'll be
not right there. That'd be crazy if at your first meeting he was like, by the way, I I I lead this group. Like,
I lead, I lead
no,
like
like a few towns later in the plot, he does kind of admit it, I would say, like a little early, because what was that town called? The one with the electric gym leader, because
I,
that's where he
I
Nimbasa
cannot
City,
I
I
cannot tell you
think.
that.
I want to say it's Nimbasa City. If that's wrong, sorry. But you guys, Nimbasa City was kind of like this very like it's like this town of entertainment. Like if you think in think like Times Square, that's like what kind of it was based off of. Um and so like y'all go into this Ferris wheel and he's like, I'm the king of Team Plasma, which was an iconic scene, by the way. I know all my N fans out there love that scene.
Yeah, for
Um
real.
And the game goes on, and he's basically saying, I'm gonna capture this legendary Pokemon, and I'm gonna defeat the champion of Unova, and then everyone will understand like where I'm coming from, and blah 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 blah. And so eventually
Also,
he follows through on what he says.
so be
um
to be honest, using the word capture would be kind of crazy. I feel like he would probably says the else kind of like, oh my god, like I'm gonna go friend like this
he
Pokemon.
probably used like a word like befriend or something.
Yeah,
He still had that thing in a Pokeball though. He wasn't slick. Like, come
yeah,
on.
he wasn't
Give
slick.
us some fun. Like, okay. But not too much on end though, because when he follows through on that, eventually the real villain is revealed at towards the end, where his father, I never know how to pronounce that man's name.
It's like it's
Getsis?
yeah, it's like Getsus.
Getsis, yeah, his father had been like basically like groomed him and manipulated him into thinking like what their group was doing was for the greater good. No, Getsis just wanted to like rule over the world, and he wanted
Yeah,
everyone to give up their Pokemon so that he could have like free reign over Pokemon and basically become like this dictator guy. And so, yeah, and so N was just like, I've been manipulated this whole time. And it was crazy because it was just like, oh, that was because he wasn't even like the villain the whole time.
yeah, and also on top of that, when you think about it, Team Plasma compared to like most other gens before that, it's like I feel like a lot of them were just sort of like, um, yeah, we're in this villain team, we doing crimes or whatever, but I feel like Team Plasma, it was just a cult. Like these people are told like, yeah, we're
Yes,
the
very much so.
yeah, they were just a cult. Like
Because
that was
also, like, when you look at
crazy.
their uniforms, they looking like these, like, I don't know, like they're from the Renaissance fair or something. So it was but it kind of played on like that big like religious kind of like cult themes,
Mhm.
um where they had like this big I don't know, like they just had like this big like ideology that they wanted to follow through on, whereas like like you have Team Rocket where it's just kind of like, yeah, we just suck and we like stealing Pokemon.
Yeah, we want to make bank. Like that's it. Like
Yeah. So it was just really interesting, and also like the final showdown was like a big thing that like got me as a kid, because like he like resurrected like this freaking like castle that he grew up in or something, in like part of the region, and so you had to go there to find him after he defeated the champion of the region, and you had to find him there to do your final showdown. And it was like really interesting because like you would just walk through the castle, and like you would see like his playroom growing up and all of that, and so you
room
can kind
scared
of
me.
just, yeah, it was scary, like low key, like it was a little bit intimidating. um and it was just like you like it was just like a bunch of like lore drop in that castle too. It was very interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, like also just the presentation of like all like these areas and stuff like that. Like the game was really really pretty, especially when they
Mhm,
combined like almost like these 3D looking environments with like the 2D pixel art and things like that. Like
mhm.
would you even go as far to say that like Pokemon Black and White is like 2.5D, I guess? I feel like
Maybe because they had because it was still, because obviously like it's still on the DS, so you can only achieve so much, especially for like Pokemon. um but it had like that whole, there was like cut scenes almost like when the castle got resurrected. I wanted to say there was a cut scene for that, and then like at the end when you defeat N and he realizes like he had been manipulated all along, he's like, man, I'm just gonna kind of go away forever. And he like leaves.
just
And
jump
so
off the castle like
he just flew away, bro. Like it was crazy.
yeah.
um but I think like it was just really well done in my opinion, because also storyline wise, because you have the regular formula with Pokemon where it's like you defeat your 8 gym leaders, you go to the Elite Four, and then you beat the champion, and then you're the champion. But at towards the end they mixed it up a little bit where you collect all the badges, you go to defeat the Elite Four. By the time you defeat the Elite Four and you go to challenge Alder, who's the champion in this game, he N had already defeated him and was like, "Meet me at my castle, bro," and then just left
Yeah,
his
that was
legendary
crazy.
Pokemon. Yeah, so the first time you play it in the main game, you're not even able to challenge the champion because you have to go defeat N. It's only after uh like in post game that you can like re-challenge the Elite Four, and then only then do you become champion of the region.
Mhm. So, can I say too, I don't know if maybe I just sucked or something like that, but was Gen 5 hard for you as it with the first time you played?
The Elite Four was really hard for me.
Yeah, I was stuck on like that ghost type one for like a very long time.
Yeah, it's because her freaking chandelier had
Yes.
like with her strategy with that, and she would just keep on like setting your Pokemon on fire.
Yeah, that
And it's
was
like
the
you're not
exact
even
issue.
a bro, like it's like you're not even a fire type gym lead. Like you're a ghost type. Stop setting me on fire.
Like, why are you even doing that? That's not your job. Like,
Yeah, but I struggled. I think I mainly struggled with the Elite Four. The rest of the game was like fine for me.
mm, I don't. Well, no, actually, no. Elisa's gym, I did have trouble with that.
Oh, her gym was kind of ass too,
Mm,
because you couldn't even use a ground type because she had like two like emolgas and they were electric flying.
mhm.
And so like there wasn't like a lot of weaknesses you could pull there.
Yeah, and also rest in peace to the Nintendo DS's online capabilities. But that was around the time where like trading was still very much something that you could do a lot. And then I my starter was Snivy, but I got an Oshawott in trade, and that kind of ended up being a heavy hitter on my team. And imagine little old me going to Elise's gym with a literal whatever stage Oshawott was at. Like I was stupid.
Dude, also the trading system was really freaking good for Gen 5 because they had the negotiation systems. I got so many shinies out of that negotiation system. Like I was
Sheesh.
swimming in shinies.
Yeah. Oh, I remember like when we were kids, you actually went and hunt down a shiny Absol for me, and you got that. That for me, I was so
I did. And I either got the Gardevoir or the Gallade.
yeah, it
I
was a
think I got a
Gallade.
Gallade too.
Yeah, the Gallade. Yeah, the trading system was so fun. Like I remember just getting a whole bunch of stuff that like I couldn't find in the region, and I was just so happy because I only had one DS and I didn't want to keep trying to transfer stuff to myself because only time I could really do it is if I borrowed like someone else's DS, and I would never take someone's DS home with me, so it'd only be if I went to like a friend's house or something like that.
Well, it just helped make like completing the Pokédex so much more easier.
Mhm.
So that was just like, because I think that was like that was one of the first games where I was just like, okay, I think I can actually like complete this thing, at least like the Unova region part of it.
Mhm, exactly. That's the one thing I hate with the whole like by the time that Nintendo decides like, hey, we're gonna take away the internet capabilities from like this system, because then games like Pokemon, you can no longer 100% them anymore, and that sucks.
No, for real. But also, bro, like, can we just talk about N, bro? Like, that was my boyfriend. I had
Yeah,
this whole plot line in my head, bro, before I knew fanfic was a thing. And I was just like, yo, like, my protagonist and N, they're dating. Like,
actually, here's a funny thing. Um, were you like big on like just Pokemon shipping in general as a kid?
I mean, yeah, all the time.
Ferris wheel shipping stayed on Google for me. Like Ferris it stayed on Google for me as a child. Like I used to read like all these little comics and stuff like that of all the stuff, and then also like I used to pick up a lot of like the black and whites, like adaptations and stuff like the manga and all that. Um, literally there to me, and he just like just announced that he was like in love with the MC, or Hilda, I believe is what it's called, is what she was called. And then Hilbert, I don't think he was talking to N at the time in the manga, but yeah,
That's
like
funny.
I think he was just doing his thing, and then
Also,
Hilda was.
yeah. So, I believe in the manga, Hilda met N first, and
Mhm,
so that whole scene, I'm sorry, that whole scene was so crazy. So for those of you who don't know, like there's a lot of like manga adaptations for the Pokemon games. And so there was one that Brittany got me into actually that we were reading. And in the Ferris wheel scene where N tells the protagonist that he is the king of Team Plasma. So in the game, it's like obviously like he just tells the protagonist. It doesn't matter if you pick like the boy or the girl, like whatever. But
mhm,
in the manga, it had the female and the male protagonist as two different people. They were both present in the story.
mhm. And
And
they
so
usually do that for like all the Pokemon manga, where like
yeah,
both of them are like separate people. So.
and so that Ferris wheel scene happened with the female protagonist Hilda, and she had this tepig, bro. Do you remember the tepig? So also in the game, there's if you played like Sinnoh, like there was Pokemon musicals, which is very similar to just the Pokemon contests that they used to have. And so she would enter her tepig in these musicals, and that's how she would compete. Like that was her main thing, as a trainer. And so Ed was just basically like, "You're abusing your tepig. Like you, like she doesn't want to do that." And Hilda was like, "What, bro?"
My
And
God.
and he basically took the tepig from her, and she like jumped out of the Ferris wheel.
I strictly remember her falling, and then Ed is just looking at her.
Tepig is also just looking down at her as she falls out the Ferris wheel.
Like, I think that's crazy.
That shit was so funny for no reason.
Also, like, I feel like just Gen 5 in particular, that was a turning point in like just Pokemon in general, because like at the time, like the Pokemon anime was getting crazy and stuff like that. People was really into that. Then,
Hmm.
the manga was great, the game was great. I mean, people tried to say, "Oh my gosh, this game sucks. Pokemon is going to be canceled because this game is awful." Like, shut up, please. I don't care
No,
if you.
well, I mean, like, first of all, like, Pokemon fans try not to complain challenge. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, they're never happy with any game. Which, okay, I will say this. I will take take that with a grain of salt because I will say there's a lot of things that Game Freak does that I don't agree with, as with many larger companies, and I think they could be smarter about some of their decisions. However, like some of these fans just complain about everything and they don't like anything new, and I think that's what they hated about Gen 5 is it was just really, really new, and there was a lot of new things in it.
Yeah, because the thing is, even because like I feel like every little thing in Gen 5 was new, even like down to little decisions for the protagonists, such as like that. The Gen 5 protagonists are the oldest that we've had in the entire series. Like most of them are like 10, 12, but what they were like, what, like 14, 16, and things like that. They were older.
I believe Hilda and Hilbert were like 15, and I want to say Rosa, and I forget the male protagonist in Black and White too.
Who
I
cares about
forgot
him?
what his name is, but I forget his name, but I believe they were 17
Oh
actually.
God, they were old.
Like
But
they are still like to this point the oldest protagonist, which I really enjoy.
mhm. Like they were just trying like so many different things with it. And I feel like maybe that's also why at the time Gen 5 was kind of brought like met with like so much hostility, because it was just different.
And
Hmm.
I have to say, I really like some of the new additions too. Like, so I'm less familiar with Black and White too, but just a quick rundown of the story for anyone who's curious or never played. Basically in Black and White 2, like I said earlier, it takes place like about 2 years after the events of the first game. And so, again, same premise. You want to be a Pokemon champion. And, your childhood friends from the last games, like one of them is like the the assistant to the professor, the other one is a gym leader. And so like you see a lot of these reoccurring characters making names for themselves. Like one of the old gym leaders became the champion at the time. No one knows what happened to the old protagonist of the game.
Yeah,
They like
that's a
fell off
thing.
the face of the earth.
Yeah, because but also the crazy thing is like, can't you like? Because I haven't played like Black White, Black Two, uh, Black. Wait, did I say Black White? Wait,
Black and white too.
you had Black and White too. But like, isn't there literally a thing that you can run into the Hilbert or Hilda's mom, and then she'll be like, "Oh my god, y- I miss my son daughter," like something like that.
Yes, yes, you can literally because you start in a different town in Black and White too. Like you're from the western part of the region, I believe.
Hmm.
And so if you go all the way to the first town that you start in the first game, you can go to the protagonist's house and the mom will be like, I haven't seen my kids in years. I don't know where they are. Crazy. Every time you run into someone, they're like, wow, you really remind me of this one person I used to know.
Yeah, that's like insane to me because, like, where did you go? Like,
Yeah,
because we know that N was all like, I'm gonna leave, but like, Hilda slash Hilbert, like, where did you go? Because here's the thing, I feel like the last things that were kind of like really big in Pokemon Black and White, like the first one, is that in the post game we have Looker running like his investigation and junk like that, and then wasn't there like dad like some kind of agent or something like that too?
maybe.
Like, maybe I'm crazy, but their dad is like an agent. That's why they're never home, I think.
Interesting.
Like
I
Pokemon
don't know.
CIA.
But like the thing, but it's just a little weird because I mean, like, I'm sure they just did that so they didn't have like that many plot holes to fill. But it was just a little weird because it was like, bro, like, you become the champion and then what? You just fall off the face of the earth? Like, why is no one able to reach you?
Yeah, and also like you became the champion and stuff like that. You don't want to do your champion duties too, like at least. Like dang. I wonder if like the Elite Four was kind of awkward because they think like the MC is gonna clock in and then they never come. Like dang.
And they call up Iris and they're like, yo, Iris, we need a new champion, bro.
Like we're gonna need you to be like take up the position. Like
Yeah, but basically, so obviously there's like some new gym leaders, there's some new characters. But basically the story as it goes is that Neo Team Plasma shows up and they're like doing crimes as usual. And basically they plan to like capture this legendary Pokemon named Kyurem, who's like kind of the main Pokemon in the sequel, the main legendary Pokemon in the sequel, and
yeah.
they want to use him to take over the world or whatever, um, as usual. And you find out that Getsus is actually behind the whole ploy because I believe he disappeared also after the events of the first games. So he basically
Everybody just
comes back.
disappears.
Yeah, he comes back with a vengeance, and N actually returns too when you face Getsus, and it's like, Dad, stop! And his dad is like, I don't know, I don't care, I never loved you, and tries to tries to like take over anyways. Um, but yeah, it, but where I was going with this is that I really liked the introduction of being able to do other things with your Pokemon other than just battle. Like, you had the Pokemon contests in Gen 4, which eventually developed into the Pokemon musicals, which give or take, like if you like them, whatever, that's fine if you don't. But Black and White 2 also introduced Pokestar Studios. So basically you could go just be a movie star and you would use your Pokemon in battle and you would like fight props in like a green screen and stuff like that. And you would just film movies and you had to follow the script exactly. Otherwise you would get in trouble for not doing your job. And I just really like that.
Well, yeah, because I actually since I did not get that far in the game though, but I have seen the footage of it. It looks so fun, honestly. And the little cute little reasoning why and things like that. I just find it so funny that like the protagonist is just, part-time movie star.
No, yeah, because also because the funny thing is too is that do you remember the ice gym leader in the first one,
I
Bryce?
do.
Yeah, so he actually became a movie star in Black and White too. Like he doesn't even I don't I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly. I don't even think he really runs his gym anymore. Or maybe he does, and you had to like go tell him, yo, you gotta go clock in at the gym. Like I need my badge.
My
Because
gosh.
he's too busy being a movie star.
Like, dang. Like, so he's just kind of like, I'm just gonna stick to doing my movie stuff. That's weird because, like, I feel like tons of gym leaders, they be doing their other jobs too. Like, ain't Elisa a whole pop star? Like,
He's a model.
oh yeah, she's a model, not pop star. My bad, my bad. But
I love
like,
the outfit change in Black and White too. She was such an icon.
no, because like every single outfit she had was great, and also like, wasn't there like version differences on like what her outfit would be as well? Like one of the she has like this black hairstyle. And another one, it's like a different type of. If she's wearing her blonde look, or is it just like she just dyed her hair black in like the
It was
sequel?
in the first game she had the blonde look, and then in the second game she had the one with the black hairstyle, I believe.
Yeah, you see, my memory is just out of here. I'm thinking that there's version differences, but nah, it's just like she just changed her style, and it'd be cool
No,
if
but
it.
it was really, really cool. And I think in this game too, I forget if it was the first game or the sequel. It must be the first game. Um, the last city you go to, the Dragon City, because I know if you bought different versions of the game. So if you bought Pokemon Black, the um I think the gym leader was Drayden, and if you bought Pokemon White, the gym leader was Iris. And the look of the city would change based off of the version. And there was always version exclusives in these games before, but I think uh Gen 5 is it became like a little bit more drastic in stuff like this. And so that was also just really cool.
Yeah, because I actually do remember that. Also, the whole thing with the whole white forest, black city, right?
I mean, and also another thing that they added in Black and White 2 specifically that I really liked is that they had like the world tournament thing. So you could like fight like other people from like other games. Like they
Oh
had people showing up.
yeah.
Bro,
Wasn't
I loved that.
Also, like that's the thing I miss when they added those challenge stuff because that mess was cool.
Yeah, because I remember because like you could even like Red would be showing up in there and then just like champions from other games and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um And they would have like little lines to them too. So I just thought it was like cool as like a throwback sort of thing. Cause I mean I love when there's recurring characters. Like that's my jam right there.
Oh yeah, like Cynthia, all of a sudden in Black and White One, literally she's out here striking like the fear of God in people's hearts because why do you have a vacation home over here?
But the crazy thing is like it would have been fine if they let you save before. But they don't let you save. She just looks at you and she's like, dang, like you look strong. I'm gonna fight you.
No,
And then
for
like you can't
real.
even do nothing about it.
Why couldn't she be like, "Hey, you want to fight now?" Like, but no, it's to me it felt like you walked in there and she started jumping you with like a metal bat. That's what it felt like to me.
Like I
Like
don't understand like why they didn't let us save, bro.
like
Next thing you know, she's beating me up.
one little thing where she'd be like, "Let's battle." And then it you have to like talk to her again before that. That would have been perfect. But no. She immediately jumps you. Like to me, I felt like that was some kind of like abuse. That's how I felt. Like that's how I felt.
Oh my god, we also gotta talk about my boy Curtis.
Oh yeah, Curtis was from that side story in Black and White too. Um,
Yeah.
high key, this is what I'm saying that Game Freak yearns to add dating sim elements to.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like Game Freak, you would make so much money if you just added a little bit of dating sim elements to it. Like you already make like these hot, cool characters. Like people want to date them already. Like just like add a little bit more. And it basically, like I feel like, that was like the whole Curtis side story. I feel like that was like the closest they've ever done to it, and they did it well. Like it was fun.
Yeah, because the thing is, also on top of that, I don't even think Pokemon needs to have a dating sim exactly. But like high key, it would be kind of fun if they added some kind of like friendship system with some of like your rivals and stuff. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
like so for people who don't know, like Curtis, so there was a female counterpart to him, but I don't know because I
what
always choose the female protagonist.
he got like
But
some kind of old lady name, like what?
I don't know.
Like Nancy, Yancy.
I think so actually,
Yeah,
something like but basically like you would find the equivalent of a cell phone. I forgot where exactly, like some point during the game. And then this dude calls you and is like, "Oh my God, you have my stuff. I'm gonna have to get it from you eventually, but like, just hold on to it for now." And then throughout the game, he would just randomly call you and just y'all would just start talking to each other.
yeah, like he,
And you didn't I thought it was like some old man at first, so I would
yeah,
ignore it at first. Cause his name was Curtis, and I'm like, oh, this is like some old dude, bro. Like, I'm not answering this. But then, like, eventually you would meet up, and it's actually like this, like, he was kind of cute, this like dude, and he's just like, oh, like, thank you for finding my stuff. Let's be friends. And y'all would call each other, and then he was actually like a influencer kind of person. I don't know,
he's
he was
like
kind of famous.
he's like a singer.
Yeah, he was kind of famous, bro, and he was like an idol.
Mm-hmm.
And he like there was like one call because this stuff had FaceTime on it basically. There was one call you could have with him after meeting him, and he would accidentally be in his idol gear. He would be like, "Oh my God, no!" And he would turn the camera
Yeah.
off.
And also something about that, there's something very amusing that like he's just having so much fun just calling the MC that he just accidentally picks up with his camera on. He's literally in his dressing room getting ready to perform. Like
No, yeah. And there was also like a point in time like you could have a little date with him and they didn't so it does in the game it doesn't call it a date, but like if you look it up anywhere else, like it's mentioned as like a date. And
wasn't
he
it
was getting all shy about it and
like
blushing.
I don't know if maybe like I'm misremembering or maybe like I have like worms in my brain, but I think the guide refers to it as a for black and white
I
too.
think so.
And that's
Um
why people are calling it a date. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it was like really cute and it was like really fun. And it was just like stuff like that. Like I feel like they can actually like do more of that. Cause also like in Scarlet and Violet, what I really like, this is what X and Y failed to do. Like, let me just say that. But X and Y tried to introduce like your little friend group, but they didn't like I said earlier in the episode, like the writing really fell flat. I feel like after Gen 5, like it just like there wasn't enough love put into it. So like you had this friend group, but it's like I don't care about half those people in there. The only one I really cared about was like the um opposite counterpart to the protagonist that was like the player's friend. Like that's the only rival I really cared about. The rest of the friend group, I did not care about in X and Y. But what was
Yeah.
really nice in Scarlet and Violet is that like they had that system where you can just kind of like go pursue like a bunch of like different storylines. And so that's how you would get closer to your group of friends throughout those storylines and you would bond with them more. So it wasn't like specifically like like an affinity meter or like affection points or anything like that, but it's like as you complete these stories you're becoming more close with these people. So I think they should just add stuff like that more. Like because it really makes you actually feel immersed into the story and like you're actually forming bonds with these people.
Yeah, because like also the thing is, it's like also the thing is, I feel like it just Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2 or things like that. Or I'm gonna specifically say, both of the games. I feel like in that game, okay, I have not played like some of the more recent Pokemon games, but in that one, the 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 friends really did feel like your friends, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you.
Because like even like in the beginning of Pokemon Black and White, y'all literally having your first Pokemon battle in like your bedroom, and then you get in trouble, or you don't even get in trouble. Your mom don't care that much,
Yeah.
but you like mess up the whole room. They're like, oh no.
Yeah, like it to me it feels like y'all are like these friends and y'all get into trouble together like all the time type of thing. So like
Yeah, and
mhm.
like I don't know, like the friend group like was believable, and that kind of faltered after after this generation too. Because also like okay, and I'm again, this is not me like shitting on it. I played like almost all these games, bro.
Mhm.
And so I already talked about how I felt about the friend group in X and Y. And then in Gen 7 Alola, bro, I actually really liked that region, but I felt like the villain in that story. Like I felt like that was like the Lily and How show. Like I was not like the protagonist wasn't even integrated it into it enough. So it's like you have to find that healthy balance of like being able to flesh out the other characters, but also still making the player feel involved.
Mhm. Cuz like oh yeah, like to be honest, like, when y'all click on this, y'all should know you're going to be spoiled for games, but I guess um skip a little bit of this part. I'm going to put like a little thing on here. But like in Pokemon Sun and Moon and stuff like that. It's crazy because literally when you're over here doing all this stuff like Lily got all this stuff like her mama the villain, her mama do all this crazy stuff, experiment on them, I don't know, stuff like that, and then it's he's all evil and all this, and then you're just there in the background like dang Lily, I'm so sorry, like
No, the crazy part is the legendary Pokemon didn't even like you, bro. Lily was just a shit trainer, and so she, and so she was just like, I can't wield you like the protagonist can. Go to them, and the legendary Pokemon was like, okay, I guess, and then just did that, and then so suddenly you own the legendary Pokemon. It's like, how is that supposed to make me feel? My Pokemon don't even like me, like.
yeah, it low-key feels like you're only like having them as a partner because they're doing Lily a favor, like
Like, what kind of crap was that? And so again, like I love Lily. I think like her crazy mama, like like that was cool what was
mhm.
going on there. But as the player character, I was like, what, why am I here?
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, like I miss having that balance with like what the protagonist is, the relationship with the characters closest to them, and things such as that. Like, um, for example, I kind of like the dynamic in X and Y as well, but at the same time, it was a bit flat. Like, majority of the friend group, I could not even tell you their names.
Because
But
they weren't interesting. Like there was
yeah,
this one guy and he was like, "Hey, I like to dance," and then that was it.
all I remember is like him spinning at random times.
And then there was like the little ginger kid who's like, oh, "I'm a nerd," and then that was it. And
I forgot about. And then there's like that one chick, Shauna or something like that. And then like you guys watch a fireworks together. She's like, "Oh my god, wow, this is so beautiful. I'm so happy. I get to be here with someone I care about." And then she's staring at you real hard, like, "Who are you?" Like,
I'm like, girl, like I don't even like I barely know your name, and she's over here just like I don't know. Like literally, the only one I like remember was the counterpart to the protagonist, and I was like, dang, they're dating,
yeah,
because
like
I was being silly.
uh, Callum and Serena, right?
Yeah,
Or is Serena the protagonist? I don't know, man.
Serena. Well, I think her name was still Serena.
Okay.
Like if you were the male protagonist, her name was Serena, and then
Mm, makes sense.
Callum was for if you picked the female protagonist.
Got you. I thought it was kind of funny because I feel like th- they were super nonchalant about everything, and even at the end where I felt like we went through a lot, and they're just like, "Thanks, you." Like no, no, like wow, you're my best friend. It's just like okay, like it wasn't like that in the past gems. We used to have real friendship in this.
For real. Also, um, I will say too, in Pokemon Black and White, it felt like the gym leaders were much more involved, which I really liked.
Actually, yes, this is something that I always kept thinking about. I felt like in the overall storyline, everybody had a hand in like trying to see what's going on. Or like when Team Plasma was becoming an issue, it wasn't just like they were just a nuisance in some towns. It was more like we all have to like do something about this.
Hmm.
Like we are actively trying to do something about this.
The gym leaders like return, like in the first game too. Like you go back to one of the first towns and you talk to Lenora, who is like an archaeologist, and like she runs the museum, and she's like, "Oh, you want this stone that might have this legendary Pokemon in it," and tells you about the history about it and stuff like that. Like everyone was like involved.
Genuinely felt like the gym leaders, they all had some kind of part to play. It wasn't just like they were just like some kind of checklist that I was going through where basically like, okay, I gotta go beat Bimbledorf's behind and then go to the next town. Like, no, like
Hmm.
yes, you still beat Bimbledorf's behind, but like will see you 3 towns later because Bimbledorf is like, hey, like I got called up because like y'all having some issues over here. Like
Yeah, because I think I forget if it was the first game or maybe it was the last game where they all kind of just like reconvened at one point. I think
I
it's
feel
when the castle like got resurrected and stuff like that. They were like, what the heck is that? And they were all together like having an emergency meeting basically.
I don't think it was literally everyone. Maybe some people were a little bit less involved than others. Like, I don't think like Elisa showed up again that much after you kind of beat her. Like, she may have like a small thing, but she don't really do stuff after that, for example. Or what you call it?
I know
The
for sure though, like Lenora came back
oh yeah,
and like
Lenora for sure.
the
You no,
cowboy man came back and
like
then the dragon gym leaders were there.
oh yeah, Lenora for sure. Like you literally take a trip to see her again. So that's like a big one. Like you literally go to where she is. I don't even think she goes to you. You go to her.
Pretty sure most of them came like towards the end of one of them because there was this theory. Remember the triad people? There
Mhm.
was a theory that they were actually the Duration gym leaders because they were the only ones not there during like one of those meeting things.
Crap, I remember that theory. To be honest, what was those people's deal? I remember seeing them, but I'm like, who are y'all?
I don't know. They were just kind of there.
Yeah, like I was sitting here thinking some crazy stuff was going on, but they were just there to be menacing and then they left. So
They were like, "You go this way," and then you did, and then that was it.
yeah, exactly. So it was just like there were so that's why Game Freak, when this game gets a remake, I don't want no funny business. I don't want y'all trying to do something cute. I need y'all to do to be in the mindset that y'all were in when you did the Hoenn remake.
Yeah,
Be in
that
the
whole remake fire, bro.
be in the same mindset you were in at those other ones like Heart Gold. So wait, weren't Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes? Am I crazy?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Gold and Silver was the first ones.
Yes, like I need y'all to be in that mindset. I don't want no funny business. Don't do what y'all did for Gen 4 because I love that gen, but I will never play that
We
game.
do not want no one-to-one remake, bro.
That's here's okay, my hot take. If a game is remade, it is because I need it to be because you're adding something to it. if you want it one to one, don't remake it, remaster it.
So true.
Like you want to put out a one to one game, remaster. One, it's cheaper. It's cheaper. Like it's all for the team. Well, I guess okay, it can depend. I guess I wouldn't actually go as far to say that. It can. I guess it can depend, but it it a whole remake one to one. I've noticed that people are not normally happy about that. They want something extra in on it.
I mean, because it's just like, what's the point? Like, I might as well just get the other game. The ori-
Exactly. Like I'm over
but
here.
I
Oh.
would say, Game Freak, hear my plea. You could do whatever you want with this Pokemon Legends Kalos thing. Pokemon Legends Unova, hear me out, Game Freak, hear me out. You have you have a real, and this could be set in the past, just like RC, the Pokemon Legends Arceus was. Dude, you have really good mythology when it comes to your legendary Pokemons. No one wants to see Pokemon Legends Mew right now. We all know that's coming.
Hmm.
we don't we don't want that right now. What you should do is release Pokemon Legends Unova. And so the whole mythology behind Reshiram and Zekrom is that they used to be one singular dragon Pokemon and they were used by these twin heroes. But then they split and they were like, because the twin brothers were like, well, my ideology is this, and the other one was like, well, I don't agree. And so the dragon Pokemon split into Reshiram and Zekrom, and each one of them took a different side, and so they started fighting, but they were equally matched, right?
Hmm.
Right? You can put that whole mythology into an actual storyline if you did Pokemon Legends Unova. You know how crazy that would be? And like
Exactly.
you get a whole new Pokemon out of it because we get to see uh Reshiram and Zekrom what they used to be when they were like one entity. And
Hmm.
then like dude, like it would be crazy.
Exactly. Also, like the way that they can make this world and stuff like that. Like for example, the first Legends game. That's crazy. What do you mean you're sent to the past? And also, like it's highly implied that you're stuck there. You're gonna die there. But like, like, but then the new one, it's like we're like in the future a little bit, and like, dang, like what's
Like there's
what?
so much you can do here. Like isekai them again, bro. Like it would be
Yeah.
such a cool, like it would be a cool storyline for that to happen. And like what if like we mess with some time traveling stuff and then we get a different outcome? Then what? Then what
Yeah, oh
happens?
my God. Like they could literally do whatever at this point. The way they've opened the door with like seeing them have the next Legends game be set in the future, that means anything's on the table. That's what it's telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, if they can take Unova to those heights, I want to learn more. You know what? It would even kind of gag me if all of a sudden we see N in there. I not because I miss
Bro.
him, but still.
No other reason.
Yeah. Like seeing N again, or even like I don't know, Hilbert, one of them two.
Like that would be crazy, bro.
It
Also, I think one of the biggest complaints I've seen people have about Gen 5 around the time it came back is that they didn't like the Pokemon designs. They were like, oh, there's a garbage Pokemon and a vanilla ice cream cone. Girl, what was Muck? What was Grimer?
be real. We're in New York.
We are in New York, bro. Like,
like
you're gonna see a trash bag on this Pokemon on the side of the street. Like,
like
that's fine.
I'm surprised they didn't make more rat Pokemon. Please.
No, like, right, right. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Like
surprised there weren't like coughing and wheezings like scattered throughout the like I'm surprised like you couldn't find them like you could find like a Pidgey in the first games. Like
no, actually you're right. How come like you couldn't walk through like the city and then you'd have like a random battle with like a coughing or something and a wheezing? That'd be fire actually.
like now that is atmosphere if I've ever seen it.
No, for real. Like you're like, oh yeah, like when sometimes when you're walking through the city, like the little industrial parts, like you're gonna see a coughing and wheezing, just ignore them. Like Um,
That's what I don't understand though, is that there was so much like backlash on the Pokemon designs, bro. And it's like, bro, in Gen 1, you literally have a Pokeball flipped upwards that's quote unquote possessed. And it's not even a ghost type, it's an electric type Pokemon.
and then Ekans is literally snake backwards. Like, what are we talking about?
Like, I don't know, I thought the designs were fire.
I loved
Some of
it.
them.
Also, like, I loved like that little ice cream Pokemon. I thought it was the cutest thing in the world. Like,
Vanillite is
yeah,
great.
I thought it was so cute. Even though like it was super weak and the thing died like every 3 seconds, I still liked it. So,
I liked my water toad Pokemon.
anyways,
So Black and White was the first game me and Brittany were able to play each other on because it's the first one that she owned, and I
mm,
would beat the crap out of her with the Seismitoad because she didn't know what its weakness was because
I
it was
didn't
ground. So
understand it.
it was ground and water, so she couldn't even like use electric type moves, and she didn't get that for a while, and I just didn't tell her.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like at the time, I would usually just use like common sense to be like, okay, like you gotta be a whatever type. But when I looked at Seismitoad, I didn't understand the typings. So then I would be like, this attack has no effect. I'm like, why?
She would like send her, it was like your freaking like Luxray or something. You would just spam Thunder, and I'm like, girl, that doesn't work.
Like, I didn't understand it. When I looked at it, I didn't know what it was. Like, like I hated that mess. Oh, you remember my Whimsicott as well? I
I
love
hate Whimsicott, bro.
I
This
had
stupid Pokemon is a stupid Pokemon.
I had like such an annoying setup for my Whimsicott where it was kind of like on the speedier side, and then I would have like Substitute, Mega Drain, Leech Seed, and then what was my last one? I feel like it was like something like, was it like the poison thingy? I don't remember. Something like that. So basically like it would come to the point where usually my Whimsicott was faster than most other Pokemon. So I would literally always substitute and then just kind of drain people's teams that way, and it was always very funny for me.
Whenever that happened, I would just pull out my Reshiram, bro, and I would fusion flip.
It's like you're burning down. Like
Like
I
I was
was
tired of that Pokemon.
yeah, and then like you literally trained up a Militic just to kill me too, I remember.
Oh yeah, I
Mm,
loved my my Milotic.
yeah,
That was like one
memories.
of my best ones.
But man, I but at the same time, I hope for the future of Pokemon that there's more like innovative and just fun things again. I want to feel like uh, the whimsy that I had. And you know what, with Pokemon Legends, I kind of feel like it's coming back a little bit. And then Scarlet and Violet has its problems from what I see. Um but I do also see some merit in like a lot of the stuff that's in there, especially from just hearing you talk about it as well.
Yeah, I think Pokemon, like writing wise, is back. Like I think there a lot of the issues I'm seeing with like the open world games now is that they're just super the problem is they're just super buggy right now, and it's just not as like cuz like you can't release an open world game on the same system that you released like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild on.
Mhm.
And then, like people are going to compare them. Like that's just fact.
Mhm.
Um
And I think
and
it's
so
oh, I was gonna mention, I think it's also just because they're both like Nintendo titles. That's why that people are just like, oh my god, this sucks because Breath of the Wild would never do this, like type of thing. But
no, exactly.
this,
And I think like some people also have to understand is like I mean, there's just you still have that whole like what do you call it? This I mean, you still have like the whole battle mechanic you got to fit in there and how that's going to work with it. And like there's just a little bit more um systems that Game Freak has to implement. So I think that's part of the reason why it just ended up being so buggy because they just didn't put the time into it to make sure it actually runs as good as it can.
You know
Uh,
what's you know what's also my guess as well? I just feel like Game Freak is under a lot of crunch, and I do feel like there are some things coming out about Game Freak doing like a lot of crunch. Because you think about it, Game Freak has been putting out Pokemon games, like Pokemon mainline games, rather quickly, if you ask me.
well, that's why when Pokemon Legends ZA was announced and they were just like next year, not this year. Like they actually skipped a year for once. People were like, "No way, are you serious?"
Yeah, because I genuinely I feel like Pokemon, they I f- to me, since I also want to give them grace as well, I feel like they just spread themselves thin with that game. They're doing something that they haven't really done as that we've seen from them, I guess, and
Mhm.
they were just putting a lot of stuff. And I like, yeah, they're going ahead sacrificing certain things, such as like you can't have like a complete Pokédex or something like that, all those type of stuff, and that put a damper on a lot of things for a lot of people, of course.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they're trying to do new stuff, and but the problem is that they're trying to find their footing. But I don't know, my brain is kind of like, y'all should not be throwing the noodles at the wall right now.
They're trying to do too many new things without giving themselves enough time to make sure that it works and not enough
Yeah.
like testing and stuff like that, which
Mhm.
is what I think is happening. But I will say I do think the newer games, writing wise, for me, which is a very important aspect for me as what I like to see in games, and I understand that's not the same for a lot of people, but I think that they're making a comeback on like the plot lines and then also like developing like the relationships between the protagonist and the characters.
Mhm. Cuz like, yeah, I feel like okay, here's the thing, right? I think about the Pokemon anime, for example, and I feel like the biggest parts are like the little emotional scenes of like with the Pokemon and like the friendships with the groups and such like that. Like and then from everything that I have watched from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because I don't have the game yet, is that the friend group, they do feel like a friend group. Like,
Mhm.
and I feel like having like a big part of Pokemon is like, you know, y'all doing stuff with your friends and your Pokemon who are also your friends. Like, we
Right.
need to bring that back, the friendship. Like,
No, but yeah, I just hope that it goes in the direction where maybe they don't want to release a game every 2 weeks. I hope they continue going into that direction and actually put it, because I think if they just put more time into it, a lot of those complaints that people have will, which is like very much like, I'm not saying like they shouldn't have those complaints because I have those complaints too. Like, why the hell, like, am I glitching into like 10 different walls in Pokemon Legends Arceus and the game is already out? But I think those will get cleared up if they just like actually like give themselves time to do it.
yeah, because like, I don't know. I feel like Game Freak, it's all right if y'all let us wait another year. It's all right.
Right.
Because I mean, think about Legend of Zelda high key. They don't care if they make us wait. Like, what?
They don't they will drop a trailer and be like, this game is coming, and then we won't hear nothing about it until like 10 years later.
Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I do understand they're like different studios that are making these games. They probably have different, I guess they have different standards for themselves or like how they want to do it. But high key, I think Game Freak will really benefit if they just spend a little more bit more time. Don't put the game out yet. Like,
Right.
that's Pokemon, y'all.
I
Like,
mean, that's Pokemon, man.
yeah, like we exhausted our talk. I kinda did we? Cause I'm like, dang, I
I
didn't.
mean, there's not much else to say unless we like jump into other games, but that's another episode.
Yeah, like I feel like Gen 5, that's the bread and butter for this one. Like I love Gen 5. I love that felt like they were really trying to do new stuff. But the thing is, I felt like they was working a lot cuz like they work really
Mhm.
well. But times are changing also, just game development is just kind of on fire
Yeah, that's
slash
true.
slash negative, but it's
Yeah,
on
that's
fire.
true.
So
Well, y'all, when Pokemon Legends Unova comes out, I'm expecting my paycheck from Game Freak.
I would also like to work on a Pokemon game. I think
Hell
it would
yeah.
be fun. Do we gotta learn Japanese to work on a Pokemon game?
I wouldn't necessarily think so. Maybe?
Maybe we gotta hop on them one of the maps, just in case.
Mm. I mean, do they have a team?
They
Maybe.
I need to do some more research because I know that they have like but the thing is, everyone who's like not from Japan, I feel like they just I don't know, sent their application, moved to Japan to work on it. Like I feel like that's what I be hearing from people.
Then maybe that's just what you gotta do.
We gotta hop on our Zoom and learn. So, but
Anyways, yeah. Play Black and White. And
yeah,
perhaps Black and White too. They're good games.
exactly. And just enjoy Pokemon, live your life. Um,
You don't have to complain about the graphics every 3 seconds. We know they're not good.
yeah, it's about the experience. It's about the nostalgia. Like and if you don't have the nostalgia, it's about the experience. And we'll see you guys next time on Gamers That Yap.
Bye.
Bye.